Darry, it's day 4 of our Club La Santa extravaganza, and I think there comes a point whenever anyone who's here for, let's say, a week starts to feel quite immobile. I think that's happened to our colleagues who've been here for 2 days longer than us. So what normally happens is that you get here and you're so overwhelmed with the number of activities that you can book, you just dive straight in. And after about 3 or 4 days, you've done so much exercise that your whole body starts to rebel and get stiff and achy and deliciously achy in many respects. And as Liz said today over dinner, she went, I can hardly move. Everything's hurting in a nice way. We haven't quite got to that point yet here because we're 2 days behind the rest of our team. But what happened to us today? Well, at 8 o'clock we do the morning gymnastics, the one that's sort of guided by a person standing in the middle of the water area, and they sort of do a guided session for 15 minutes. So we did all of that as usual, and then there was a chance to go running with the rest of the team. So we chose the shortest option, which I was a bit disappointed to find. It wasn't running anywhere except round the track. But I think when you've got small kids and it's 2K, then that's probably quite appropriate. So we did that with our family members, and then my partner and I decided we do a longer run. So we managed in total a 17K run, of which the first 2K was around the track, and then I think 15K was on trail. And it was very successful in that there was no injuries, a couple of almost falls, but everything was done very, very nicely. The sun was shining, it was dry. We went into Soothe, S-O-O, and then round, and then back to La Santa. So it was just a very pleasant run, really. I'm trying out my new Salomon, I think it's Ultra Glide shoes. Now, I've been a big fan of Salomon Speedcross shoes for a long time, but they're good in Switzerland on what I call rocky, gravelly type paths, but in the UK, it doesn't really suit the terrain because we've got a lot of mud in England, in case people haven't thought about it. And those shoes aren't the best, I would say. So these Ultra Glide trail shoes are, they're so bouncy. I mean, they are new, but even so, they are just wonderful. So you probably know as trail runners, then you can increase or sort of decrease the bounce, if you like, by what socks you wear. So I'm wearing, I wore this morning some quite thick DHB, that's the Wiggle House brand. So quite thick DHB socks that increase the bounce factor even more. And boy, did I have a nice bouncy shoe, which is important on this kind of volcanic rock terrain because that's such a sharp stone and it's very unforgiving. And we both joked actually on the run that by the end of this few days here, our shoes will be knackered. I mean, the shoes are probably going, ouch, 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 ouch. Those rocks are really sharp. Anyway, we'll see how it goes. Carrying on our day's activities, we managed to put in a good, nice, long swim. Now, it appears that on the, you don't really need to book at La Santa. There's 2 50-metre pools. And I think I said yesterday that I think the south pool is warmer than the north pool. It's certainly constructed later and it's a bit more modern looking. So we went to the south pool. Again, it was a team event. There was 4 of us swimming. And the thing is, you don't really need to book it. But we found out on the app, you can look at what you've booked with one button. So that kind of scrolls all through the days and all the things that you've booked. And secondly, you can hit a button called Diploma, and then it prints out all the things that you've booked. So now we're quite keen on booking the swimming, even though we don't need to, because if we don't book it, it won't show up on our diploma. So yeah, at the end of our stay here, we're going to print out our diploma and all the things that we've done. I think that might be nice for the kids as well. So after the swim, all of us managed just over a kilometre. My partner decided to go and do a bit of SUPing. I mean, I was a bit knackered, so I just came back to a bit of a lie down, and we prepared for the next exercise class we booked, which was TRX, which is that you attach these two straps to a firm fixed point, and then you can do all sorts of exercises around these two straps. Now we booked the TRX for pensioners or TRX for elderly people. It was an introduction, and whilst we've used TRX before in exercise classes, we've never had any formal introduction, and we did learn a few things. And also, we were in the company of even more elderly people than myself, which was nice because there was no kind of young, I've got to prove that I can, do a one-handed pull-up on a TRX on my first introductory TRX class. So it was a nice, mature introduction to TRX, and we did learn something. So after that, the rest of the team went off to a stretch and relaxation class. I thought instead I'd run around the track. So there's a 400-metre track here, and it's got 4 lanes. And I developed this kind of, you can call it fartlek, there's lots of different names for it. It's just a track running strategy for today, which is to run approximately 300, 310, 320 metres around the track. And then on the straight, just go for it, a sprint section. So I had a kind of like I say, 80 to 100 metre sprint, followed by the recovery, which was just a jog around to the next loop. So I managed to do about 7 or 8K there. I was really pleased, whilst they were all kind of snoozing around on the stretch and relax class. So I felt kind of superior for a second. But then I found out that they'd all booked the body combat class after the stretch and relax. It doesn't make any kind of sense in chronology, but the classes are when they are. So I started off this body combat class, which was, I have to say, heavily female oriented. 2 female instructors for an hour's class called body combat, and basically it was a lot of kicking, sort of synchronized kicking and punching. So I managed to last about 10 or 15 minutes. I thought, this is too much for me. So I had a few more runs around the track, and then I thought I'd call it an evening. So today I personally have managed 2 runs, a swim, TRX, and a bit of a body combat class. And my partner did all of that and an SUP session. So again, it's been another fantastic day. We're so happy to be here. We couldn't recommend Club La Santa to any athlete who wants to improve their physique, their technique in their chosen sport, and then their overall fitness by attending one or more of these classes. I mean, I think it speaks for itself, really. There's enough activities and classes here just to quench any appetite for sport. Okay, that's it for now, Dari, and I'll see you on next day's report.